Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just want to put out the folder. Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Everybody can hear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay,
can. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We just have a bit of a small break in. Yeah, we just have a small break in our network, but we're gonna try and do the best we can. First of all, thank you for everybody for making time on Father's Day. For those of you all that are dads, happy Father's Day today. I'm a dad, so happy Father's Day to me too. And we are broadcasting from Pakalani Retreat Center in Hout Bay. And we are very grateful for everybody meeting up so that we could have a better understanding of healers and food growers. The story of healing and food goes hand in hand. So I call farmers and food growers healers as well. So thank you everybody for coming. Today is about an introduction that is long needed, especially in Southern Africa and in our communities, in your communities where you from. I know it's needed as well, where we have a variety of healers and people with modalities, but we really don't know who they are. We hear about them and we never see a way to reach out to, meet the ones we don't. And this is a way for us to start communicating and not having arguments or debates about who's what healer and who's what sangoma and who's a shaman or not. But this is a gathering to bring healing into one conversation, and instead of these departments we have at the moment where we need to consult each other, in ways that is really not working. The public wants to know who we are as healers, as food growers, and they need advice. They need a path. As a healer myself, I need healing. I have sisters here. Kimberly K. Stone is my sister. She's a Sangoma. I can depend on calling her. My brother Daniel is here. I always look at him as a person that finds a way to play with my mind when I'm aggressive in my thoughts. I have a lot of people here that I can call out. So if they can help me in what I do, I know as healers coming together, there's much more flexibility between us and a better way to make people understand what is this thing we call a calling and how do we better take care of each other as healers, because we're doing well out there for other people. If we weren't, we would not have the situation where a person like me asks for the need to meet my fellow friends and share my friends with other people and mix and create this platform where we can better not advise each other, but find a way to keep the conversation of balancing and healing in the healer foundation strong. I get weak as a healer and I reach out to other healers. I don't reach out to a book. I don't reach out to other people as non-healers. It's not that they can't help me, but I reach to another healer because that's another view from where I am from. And maybe I could miss a diagnosis or miss a treatment formula, but that perspective could be corrected by anyone in this group. So today I'm going to introduce myself. And this is not the only exchange that's going to be happening. With your permissions, I created a group. And with your permissions, I would like to add you to this group where we can together set up days to do this thing. And I have remarkable friends, doctors and people that build remarkable machines, and they want to join this talks as well. So please, this is not just for today, and it's not a hype thing for IYX Africa or myself. It's a needed thing. On this channels, you'll find me putting the San healers. Yes, they do speak English and Afrikaans. And even though they're 80, 90 years old, quite well they speak these languages. So there is that also where I'm going to be putting elders in here. But I would like the elders to also meet the young minds that I think, and the elders I think is those people I would refer to anybody of balance. So my full name is Craig Q7 Beckett. I'm San, meaning Naro Tung descendant, as well as Indonesian, because my dad is Indonesian, and my mom Bushman, of course. So there's where I have the flair and flavor to take indigenous Bushman medicine into the realms of Indian Ayurvedic medicine, as well as Indonesian medicine, Japanese medicines, um, electromagnetic therapies, a different form of magnetic therapies. And all this gave me the ability to form three modalities that I can really practice with. Where I am, I'm finding results. It's amazing. And I would like to share that results that I have found. And these results, some of the parts in diagnostics that I'm interested in is finding better ways to perfect diagnostics. I want to diagnose somebody and not hurt somebody. And I find weakness in that because not that I don't belong to a group of healers, but I don't think the group I'm in should be quiet or private. And I could make a mistake in also my diagnosis there. So I am a person that is looking to minimize even touching plants. I believe we overuse them and we need to give them space to grow and a time to grow. So I've transferred my Bushman skills and what I've learned from Ayurveda and my other friends around the world into electromagnetic therapy, where I can now say I'm not hurting a plant. I can't make a mistake with a human, and I can go further than a human and go to an animal, go to a river system, go to a garden, and energize these things to balance. It took me 30, say about 25 years in the first half to realize nobody is ill. Nobody is sick. They're off balance. I found this in me having trigeminal nerve damage. The entire left side of my face is in pain 24 hours a day. And I had to learn which plants to poison myself with and how could that treatments on me benefit somebody else. I'm 12 years later talking, speaking. Shari Canal is in the group, Vanessa Black, Robin Gora, people that knows me very well that could tell you that it's been a painful journey, but I have found ways to minimize. Last night I did ayahuasca and Kambo over the weekend, something I do after long periods of time. Last time was 5 years ago, and it helped me control my nerve damage from then till now. But also at the same time, it helped me with finding other diagnoses within my journey. And these things are important for me not to keep for myself. I have to share this with other healers. So I'm here today to say that I have a catalog of knowledge and information I feel that I can't die alone with. I might get bumped by a car tomorrow, and then all this study for nothing. So I'm very concerned about that. And I would like to see where could we maybe come together and create a foundation of healers. Nothing about money or anything. It's about having a conversation, a decent conversation, to refer information to each other and technique and method and modality. Because I know there's some of y'all I can't come to, but I would love to work with y'all. And technology gives us that opportunity. So I'd like to ask Daniel. Why I'm asking Daniel is because he always talks to me about where he does Buddhist retreats and stuff. I know sometimes Daniel think I don't listen to him, but I do. And he's a voice that doesn't open the platform. He's a voice that always has a way to assure people that their way should be a positive way and will continue. So Daniel, you do that for me. Whenever I talk with you, trust me, even though we laugh and joke about things, I actually talk to you because you make me feel good, brother. And you always remind me about the positiveness about myself as a healer and as a revolutionary activist within my indigenous works. You always question me properly. So today I would like for you to assist me with an opening, even if it's just a minute, but I would like to ask my little brother Daniel, somebody that's been constant in my circle, always don't like surprises, but I like to surprise. My brother.
Wow, sure. Thank you, brother. Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, let's go. Let's see. What's a recent discovery, I guess, and what I'm working under now is the Holy Spirit. Spirit. And so what I've picked up from Q is this, like, just the simplicity of putting hands on someone, the people in your life, like that, there's certain obviousnesses that our enculturation turns us away from. So I have someone close to me who was diagnosed with Parkinson's at a very young age. He's 35. In that process of diagnosis, and then in the process of treatment, like, he was seen for an hour before he was diagnosed, given medication, and none of the treatment involved anyone putting their hands on him. So I saw him 5 months later, post-diagnosis, and no one had touched him. No one had touched him in relation to that thing. So he had been given a diagnosis from a medical authority, the person who, in his mind, is sitting in a seat of, I know what health is, and then he takes on that belief, and then, like, this self-determining thing can come on board. So to be someone in someone's life, or to be that speaks against that current of authority, or acts against that current of authority, the current of who the medical authorities are, or who the authorities of health are, requires a high degree of courage to do the enactment, to lay your hands on people. So it's for this reason that I'm interested in this, because there's a sense of alternative, but then there's a danger in alternative. There's a danger in self-authorizing healing. So what I've come to understand my role to be is to open the space for the Holy Spirit, and then the individual who desires healing and is ready to surrender to that Spirit, does the healing. So being afforded the opening, I would just like to welcome that Spirit between us.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Like I said, there's people here that's going to talk their mind straight. This is where we sit. And one of the problems currently on the floor is that self-appraised and self-anointed healers, where a doctor that touches somebody, yes, he has years of experience, but do we know which healer has what experience and track record, not to put the person aside, but to help develop each other, to come to one level, so that mistakes and misdiagnosis, and not only that, but energy misplaced, could be rectified by not only you. So it's not about there's fake healers. There isn't. Whoever makes an intention that they can help somebody, I'll call that person a healer. But I'd advise him as well. So here we have a situation in South Africa, for example, where there's a lot of people off balance and not feeling that they're not doing good in their health, but they're scared to select a healer. And that comes because even where I come from, healers talk to each other. You go to the desert, you'll find healers meet up a lot. They have a special tree, they go sit there, and they're not talking their home things. They're talking, how to better what they do for people and how to train other people in, being there for each other. So in this of what we do we have our own like registrations to start even earning money to train healers? No, we don't. Why don't we have a formal like platform? It's because healers associations, people think that you have to actually be many years in healing and have the best range and track record to do that. No, you don't. You need to come together with a group of healers and start that thing. And what I've picked up in South Africa, yes, there is healer associations, but we hardly know these people. And the healers that falls under them, I've never seen any of them actually treated like a healer or benefiting from this to actually develop themselves. But these associations exist. So in this, how could we as healers, what ideas do y'all have, or what do you have to say about restructuring these forums, these platforms? Whoever would like to put their hand up, please. Here is where we're starting. And these are conversations we don't hear between healers. We hear it in our conversations at home, and we hear it with friends. But we never sit in a platform with a diverse group of people who sees themselves as healers. So what ideas would you have to look at, educating a healer other than the forms we have? Because we have many modalities. It's just not Sangoma, Inyanga. There's other people that heal. I've met people who heals with sound, that heals with bowls, string, heals with water. And a lot of society needs to know who these people are, but also trust who they are. So what type of platforms do we need? And could people like us come together and form these platforms if they are not there? Because there's many times, as me, I'm not saying I'm a very experienced person in medicine, but I do know plant very well. I do know growing food very well. I do know spirit medicine very well. But that's only my view. And I find it hard to send medicines to Namibia, Botswana, where I'm actually working, because they ask me always, which group do you belong to? Now, if I tell them I belong to the Health Professional Council, I have to be a doctor. If I tell them I belong to the Indigenous Medicine Council, there is no Indigenous Medicine Council. If I tell them I belong to the Traditional Medicine Council, I would like to ask you which one. And, do we have that in us where we can start talking, building these systems to start teaching people? What do you think we need to start building these things where people could have not a central point to access us, but a way to access us properly? Kimberly?
I think somebody else had their hand up before me.
No, Nikki, sorry.
Yeah.
Nikki.
Kimberly, and
Thank
also
you. Yeah.
thank you to everyone. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm showing video. I'm actually really intending to have a day off, but I'm so curious with your work, Q, and
Thank you,
and so grateful for any opportunity for us all to come together, because the truth is, I really actually believe anybody who is active in creating change in our world right now is a healer of sorts.
Yeah.
And I think we've come to a very definitive crossroads. Right as we are gathering, there is global gathering that's happening called World Unity Week. And there are people gathering all around to come together with collective solutions for indigenous wisdom to have much more of a strong voice, and at the same time for us to be nurturers of each other and the conversation that makes us all feel able to put the past behind us so that we can be present with right now and be in strong, healthy relationship with each other. And so I'm amped that you boldly have created these containers, Q, and I acknowledge and I thank everybody who is present. And I believe the starting point is what we're doing. The next point would be to see what is in our circle so that we can co-create something from what exists with the people that are here. As many of our Bantu brothers and sisters say,
Thank you.
when you have an Indaba, whoever showed up is the right ones. These are the ones that we've got. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm here.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Nikki. My sister Kibli. Togozani, my sister.
Tokozani. And Gans, thank you very much for inviting me to speak. For those of you that might have picked up, I am Scottish. I lived in Southern Africa for the last 10 years. I'm currently in Sinai in Egypt, and have been placed here by ancestors at a significant point. So I want to name that I'm currently on the indigenous land of the Mazina, who are Bedouin, and indigenous people of Sinai. And I also want to name that it's Eid here in the Arabic parts of the world. And so we have billions of people praying today. So it's a very sacred day and a very important day. And I think it's very significant that we're having this particular, let's say, council meeting at this time. And that we're connecting together all over the world and across Africa, from the very north to the very south, because these are very significant and important times. I'm being guided by ancestors to say a bit more. As far as I understand, though, somebody can correct me if they're in the astrological fields, this full moon and solstice that's coming up actually signify the end of the age of Capricorn and the full immersion into the age of Aquarius. And so these are very significant and important times. We are coming to the end of an age and the beginning of a new one, or the full transition into a new one, which is the Aquarian age. In the Aquarian age, we talk a lot about the idea that it's an air sign and humanity and elevated states of humanity and technology and how those combine. And when we're talking about that in terms of being indigenous wisdom healers or indigenous wisdom keepers, even, because that's a form of healing, just to hold the wisdom without necessarily applying it. We're actually looking at the return to what we talk about in my Sangoma family as ancient tech. We know that we're psychic. We know that we're able to communicate telepathically. Much of what we have carried for thousands of years has been shut down, as well as systemically shamed and marginalized by the powers that be in order to maintain control and oppression, so that we weren't connected to the innate skills that we have. And now that we're shifting very radically and rapidly, and even with AI and how AI is actually fusing with human consciousness, we can see that we're going to have a much more elevated and expanded way forward through the next few months, never mind years and decades ahead. And a lot of the people that we are holding space for now are going through radical, what I would call existential crises, rather than shamanic awakenings, or sangomic awakenings, as I also like to use. Because what they're seeing is everything that they know collapsing with only a void of information, as opposed to a way of being deeply connected to our indigenous roots, which come through our ancestors and our relationship to land, place, and space. You're probably all very intrigued to know how a Scottish person becomes a Sangoma. Within Zulu traditions, if you don't know that already, there is a long history of adopting people into Zulu and Bantu tribes when they have a calling and a calling sickness. I think I've said enough about that. So what I want to do is go back to what Q7 said. And actually, I'm quite fascinated because I never knew that Q7's name was Craig, which is a proper Scottish name.
And Beckett as well.
And Beckett as well. And so I honour your Indigenous, Narrow and Glai ancestors, but I also honour your Scottish and Celtic ancestors too.
Thank you.
Mkulu, thank you. So within the traditional healers that I know and within my Sangoma family, and if anybody has questions about Sangomas and how Sangomas families work, because Sangomas are much more structured than narrowing, say, Bushman or Khoi shamanic teachings, because we have full systems of knowledge that operate as wisdom trees. And if you speak to an Impandi carrying Sangoma, we can explain to you almost like exactly how our university works, but it's all done through oral traditions and oral transmissions, right? And so those structures are all held within Sangomas, and then also the traditional healers organization, who I'm affiliated with and hold a license with, exist to validate those traditional experiences and knowledge across Sangoma families. So it's not just about one family holding the keys to everything. Sangoma traditions are very different across the Bantu people, from South Africa all the way up to Kenya. So anybody can train to be an Inyanga and get their certificate with THO, which is the Traditional Healers Organization. THO cover the whole of Southern Africa, as far as I understand. And to get an Inyanga's license, which is your herbalist license, so that you can carry, sorry, that's my cat, so that you can carry all of your medicines, only costs about 1,500 Rand or something like that. So the training to be an Inyanga is very straightforward. But Sangoma training is a lot more complex and in-depth, because you have to go through all of those traditional ceremonies. But that opportunity is available to anybody, because Zulus adopt people within those Sangoma callings. So I don't know whether I'm speaking out of turn, because I do very much appreciate that I am the white woman in the room, and I'm taking up space about an Indigenous knowledge base that maybe people don't know about. But I just thought it was important to say all of those things, just to lay
it is important, because a lot of people don't know that, my sister. They think Sangoma is one thing. And that's what I'm talking about, you know, to hear you say that. I can ask you straight up, how much people has asked you that question of our friends? Because I know you always speak about this, but they don't ever ask us upright this question, you know, and you just explained now a broader explanation of Isangoma and their treaty, how far their territory goes. And yes, we as the San healers don't have that platform nor that place, but we need to learn somewhere. Even though we first people, we didn't have that opportunity to set up this thing. And I find you have to go to your first teacher or the closest teacher you have. And for me, it was a Sangoma first, not a Bushman shaman, that actually put me back in place. May my gogo rest in peace, Daisy. And she really said, Q, this is how you do it. One day in the future, you're gonna have to explain or ask a sister to explain, because you can't do it. But you're gonna have to ask them to explain so that we can get clarity. Does the public know what is the rainbow spectrum of a Sangoma? I mean, I fully am not still understanding half of it, but I know it's a variety and it's huge, you know, and what I just heard from you added to that. So these are the informations we need. We're not saying that these councils don't exist. We want to know, what do we know about them, and how can somebody like me, that son, learn from you how to create such a structure for the indigenous, because they don't have it. And me alone as a healer, you all know, I bang myself up and down, gossip, fights, everything, you know, spiritual and the calling will make you not worry about these things. It makes you worry about, how do I communicate with another healer? Because I'm bumping into people that needs a Sangoma, but I don't have her at that time. Kimberly's gone back up to the north. I could have said, you know, I do have the sister. Let's fly to her quickly. But she's not here. And I have to have somebody to refer somebody to. And I don't have that. So as an indigenous healer, I'd like a directory of Sangomas. You know, like a business directory you have in your homes that you get from the post office. I would like a directory like that in my home, where I could choose my healer now. Not because I'm I'm arrogant to anything and I'm only one Sangoma, but to choose a person that I can say, oh, here's information that leads me somewhere to somebody that can help me. So it's a lot about that as well for me as an indigenous person, that I could learn from other healers how to better the indigenous communities healers and protect them. Is there anybody else? Hello, my brothers and sisters. There's no silence underwater or in water or working with water. My sister, Thokozani Fikile.
Thokozani, fellow healers. I'm so grateful for this conversation. I'm just rising from the place of traditional healing. I'm a Sangoma myself, and also just to contribute to the conversation. I'm also coming from Ukwelo Healers Collective, but I'm also coming in from the Council of Traditional Health Practitioners in South Africa. And these questions, you know, are very, very pertinent questions that we are engaged with, because this council that we are talking about has been in existence since 2007, I think. It was amalgamated in law around 2003. But the challenges that are being raised in this conversation are challenges that have always existed, that many people don't know about council. Many of us, as varied indigenous practitioners in the country, we don't even know who the councillors are. Like you are saying, there is no database, there is no directory, there is no register that currently exists. So what we have is just different associations that are formed really by healers as we go along, depending on impande or I don't know how to define impande in English. You know, for lack of a better word, we are calling it an association, but and that has not necessarily assisted all of us to say this is a place where we can go to. And the council itself, I suppose the challenges have been that the framing of what we are talking about as an indigenous council has always been from what a number of indigenous healers in the country have contested, is that we are trying to westernize a practice that is indigenous by nature, which I think is probably contributing to what to even the misunderstanding or the not knowing of the council itself, because it does exist. The council is there. I'm the chairperson of the council, and there's been other chairpersons before me. But I think the challenge is, how do healers on the ground get to know that we have a council of this nature, and what is the purpose of council? And when you're talking about someone indigenous, you know, are we talking only about an initiated Sangoma, or all the healers that have been mentioned? Because exactly, there's many of us, you know, it's not just someone that has gone to Kovela and so on. So I just wanted to rise from that place, not necessarily speaking as a chairperson of council, but just talking as a traditional, as Isangoma myself. But I'm not just Isangoma. You know, I share what you've just shared. Cool, you know, I work with sound, I work with water, I work with elements, energy, laying of hands, and all kinds of things. That even the definition of what we have in our laws at the moment of who is an indigenous healer does not even begin to embrace that which we are even in this room as we speak.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Even in terms of race, I'm glad that Kimberly spoke about the fact that she's a white person who does not feel qualified to talk about Isangom. You know, yesterday I was having this conversation with someone else, and my partner is a white Afrikaans traditional healer also. And these questions always emerge when we are talking about indigeneity. Is indigeneity not the work of spirit? You know, is it about a particular culture? And if you put it simply, this way I come from, if you put it simply for me, if you're talking about this relationship as being that of our ancestors, are we not all born from somewhere, you know, and perhaps then begin to embrace indigeneity from that place. And for me, that is how it is. It's got no color, it's got no skin. But spirit is many things, and that is why we are able to be many things. And spirit enters and exits bodies in different times and spaces in its evolution. So I can come back in the next century in a white body, but still embrace the same ancestors, you know, because the spirit does that. And I could necessarily be looking black now, but my spirit may be very white, in a sense that I could be embracing my great-grandparents from Netherlands. You know, so I'm just saying there are so many nuances to this, that the colors of our skin are just not sufficient to explain.
It's not sufficient.
And I think if we limit it to the color of the skin, we may be missing an element of spirit that is important in this conversation, particularly even for the council itself. But I'll stop here and Thokozani Matabatana.
Gogo, you hit the nail on the head, 100%. And that is dangerous ground for us. That is dangerous ground for us. I don't know if anybody else is going to admit to that, but that is dangerous ground for us. We are now sitting in a world that is not calling on a particular healer or pathfinder, but calling a healer. And we're finding people are pulling back because of this type of not talking, miscommunication. And this is one of the things I really want to succeed in, having these dialogues and having these conversations, because the powers that be, like Mama said now, who are they? Can you select and point out who's the board person of that association? We don't know them. So if we don't know them and they won't make themselves available, we're not having a conversation about them. We're not having a conversation about what they have structured, because it seems all these things are structured, but we don't know it. We don't know what it can give us. We don't know what we can give it. So here's that point where I really would like to know, you know, are we as healers gonna, you know, like ask a question and everybody sits still? If I'm a healer, I believe I don't have the right to keep quiet in front of another healer. And me keeping quiet in front of another healer, it takes something away from that other healer. The ability to pass on an energy. Like Mama said, she wants to come back and not know what she's coming back as. But if she comes back as a white person, she's still going to recognize Isangoma. I'm dreaming my death. I'm dreaming my death for one reason. I'm 45 years old. I've already had that other dreams. So I'm dreaming my death also to remember, but I don't want to come back alone. I want to dream to recognize some of y'all. You know, that is also part. I'm not only coming back for myself, but I would like to need to find out where's this other people that one day was on the Zoom. And that is possible. It is just us already starting the conversation, the dialogue, and understanding what is this world that seems it's between us. It's all admin. It's not even us. It's paperwork. So how do we then use this opportunity? Francois.
Can everyone hear me?
Can hear you.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm coming from kind of more on the medical side as a homeopath. I studied homeopathy because ever since I was very young, I was drawn to plant medicine, and and there wasn't really, you grow up, post apartheid South Africa, and you're like, you kind of don't know where to go, like in terms of, finding a path in terms of working with in terms of traditional medicine and that, and like finding your place in that. I'm grateful to hear like people like Kimberly who had that opportunity to be initiated. I'd never kind of stepped into that space of like, oh gosh, maybe I can you know, I mean, I've had the calling, and I've, you know, in my own capacity answered it, in terms of delving into my own ancestry and, you know, ancient, going back, you know, more to like Gallic and Germanic and Celtic, you know, belief systems and ceremony and traditions. But I went into homeopathy with this idea that I could use this as this is my healing methodology. I mean, this is something that's, you know, it's taken from alchemy, it's taken from European herbalism. It's really like a beautiful healing methodology. So it really resonated with me. But just yeah, I'm kind of a little shocked to hear that the Traditional Healers Council doesn't have any kind of a organized structure. Like, I mean, I come from a, you know, as a homeopath, I am registered with the Allied Health Council. So with the Allied Health Council, you can go onto their website, you can go onto their registry, you can find the details of every practitioner in South Africa. You can find all their details there. You can speak to the council, you can report, you know, malpractice on that. You can, you know, all these things. So I'm a little bit, you know, I'm a little bit shocked that there's not that in place for traditional healers, and that's, you know, I mean, traditional healers can be found within their communities, but I mean, I can't travel, or someone can't travel from, let's say, Western Cape to Eastern Cape and know where to find a healer unless it's by word of mouth. So it's, you know, it's kind of sad that traditional healers are kind of invisible unless, you know, they've developed quite a, you know, reputation and people can refer to them. So yeah, I don't know how to address that. That is, you know, this is something that needs to be talked about, and that maybe needs to be established with the Traditional Healers Council, where some sort of a registry is established, and sort of I mean, Q and I have spoken about this at length, a kind of standardization of like an entry level into becoming a healer, you know, having a certain knowledge base going into becoming a healer, so you can at least look out for certain diagnostic red flags when you're dealing with a client or a patient. So yeah, I don't know, Q, I don't know if you want to expand on that. You know,
Yeah, we'll
a
speak
lot of
more
people,
later about that. Yeah, we are working on that, and I would like us to talk about that, where we are actually in action at this moment, where we're looking at creating this directory. My sister Gogo Fikile just put up a post stating that we are busy putting a system in place for the Traditional Health Practitioners Council. Hopefully those can be ready by 2025. I didn't only hear that from Sister Gogo Fikile, but I've also heard that from somebody else. So that is why also I'm bringing this up. When that is ready, they would need a platform like what we've just did to actually start off things. And it's also to help people like them to structure, and whoever else would like a directory like that. She says we will be outing up a gazette soon to begin that process in the next couple of months. We were delayed by elections. That is the truth. And, you know, gathering this information already for me is a gift. I would like to know more, not only of Isangoma, but more of the human being. I'd like to know what makes that human being. And just touching on a little bit of what we said now about the directory and also spaces me and Francois has been talking about, not just from now for a couple of years, where we're actually heading. One thing I can say, sorry for saying it, Doc, but it's an amazing idea. We're looking at, you know, funding a healer truck to drive up into mountain areas, remote areas and stuff like that. And go physically looking for these healers and these young ones coming up misled in healing, to point them to directories, to point them to councils, and not just go there and say, I'm gonna go and balance the community. No, but also teach them, you know, the business of healing. Unfortunately, that is where we are now, where some of us have products, some of us have charges of what we have. I'd like to know what is the fair charging rate. And some of my friends charge 10,000 for something, others charge 100 Rand. I can't charge, I don't charge. But there is this type of conversations about that type of operations. And these kids and these young people out there, that's the questions they ask me most of the time. Q, point me out. I know you San, I know you Bushman, but you know what? I'm a black girl that needs direction. And I would like to point out to these councils or to these organizations or to these retreat centers that refers to a healer or works with healers. And I mean, it isn't only a fair thing. I don't have questions for these people out there. I mean, answers for them. A lot of them, I don't know much of Isangoma. I only know a little bit because of the love I had for my sisters. Some of them are here, and the journey I've taken with them. And in that journey, they've asked me also them very important questions that I too can't answer, and only give a indigenous San point of view of that, which is not what she wants or he wants at that moment. Not that they don't want it completely, but they need to lead up to that. So I would really like to see is if we could, how can I say, if we could formulate that together. Me and Francois, yes, we've set it up and we're starting to move into the direction to have a basic catalog or a directory of who's who. But we only know so much people. There's not many people that we know. And I could call my Gogo Kimberly, I could call my Gogo Fikile, I could call any of my sisters out there that's in the craft. But still, you know, I would like them also to have a catalog of their own. And in that, when the council is formed or any other councils, we can actually hand it over to them because this work is heavy, man. A lot of these people come up with a motivation to open up a council and things, but trust me, they don't have the money to run around and look for us. They don't have the money to teach these children. They don't have money for a lot of things. I will confess, I have smuggled people in and out of Zimbabwe like crazy to become Isangoma. Some of them almost died. Some of them almost died, and that's a big concern for me. And then I have South Africans sitting at the border right now, blocking young Isangoma that is trying to cross over because they're not allowed in our country. They're foreigners. They're illegally here. No, you know, I would like to raise these questions because right now, as we're speaking, I have a little girl that is South African and she needs to cross the border. And she's done with her thwasa, man. I'm proud of her. She done it alone. She walked and went over the river. If we remain silent and don't have these catalogs of who we are and what we can offer each other, children like that are trapped across the border because they love their craft. You know, this catalogs and this directories actually saves a life. Actually does work. You might think it's just us talking, but for a person to be stuck somewhere and know they have a PDF, or they can go to a healer shop and go fetch a free copy of a little booklet maybe hanging there. You got it for HIV, you got it for how to use a condom, but you don't have it for how to access a healer. For other young healers, I find them trapped all the time, either losing their mind or the church is baptizing a sangoma thinking there's a demon in the child because the pastor wasn't workshopped on how to recognize is it his work or not his work. He must refer it and hand it over. But who went to the church and gave them that booklet to say, you know what, why don't you call me with to a exorcism, or why don't you come, because the doctors already, we know we have a problem, we're not going to get it right. But we can hand over booklets like this to schools, high schools, clinics, the pastor, the imam. You know, Islam must stop hiding. We do have a form of sangoma in Islam hiding because, you know what, he's from Zanzibar and he cleans the mosque and he can't say nothing. I'm tired of him being shut up. Zanzibar medicine is amazing. But because he's Islamic and he doesn't have a group to protect him when he speaks, he won't keep, he's going to shut up for the rest of his life. And he's got 5 generations of medicine running through him. This is not fair. So having that little booklet passing out, it breaks other stereotypes that we have. We never used to talk to each other because we were Muslim and Christian. Sangoma could always be only black. If we could break all that, I think this is one of the the milestones in our existence in the now that we have the responsibility to break. Because we can't keep misleading or misinforming or half informing somebody that actually has a gift. Not just being Sangoma or Inyanga or Shaman or any of the big titles that you want to call, but we need a form of information for this person, not to only access a Sangoma or a healer, but also somebody that can advise. Because that's also a healer, like the sister says, a wisdom keeper is a healer. He knows where to send you. It's his job. Not just me healing you or balancing you. No, there is somebody else. And that's somebody I must access as a healer. The person already accessed me. I need to refer the person if I can't help. So this booklet is not in existence. I would like to see what will it take to shape this thing. What is the information do you think is needed? I mean, another thing, people, before we go further, this video is not going online. This is not for Instagram. This is not for Facebook. This video is going to be sent back to each one of y'all. And this is me starting a catalog now. This is the introduction of a book, not my book. This is my booklet. And it starts off like this. You're going to have this video to reference and remind yourself. Getting back. This information, I'm really looking at digitizing a lot of it. As a San person that grew up with San knowledge in healing, there's things I want to teach our people. Before we go further, Leo Vilakazi, my brother. Sorry about that. I saw you come up. I just didn't.
I am a sister.
Oh,
my name is Koko Pagati. I'm a traditional healer. I speak different languages. I trained as a traditional healer, Eswatini. I just want to say that I'm from the Equilo Healers Collective, and we are a diversity of healers. We are a diversity of healers, from traditional healers, spiritual prophets, shamans, sound healing, and ethno-medicine practitioners. And as a diversity of healers in the Equilo Healers Collective, we have different pillars and activities where we discussed even one of the pillars that I'm in, part of gender-based violence against traditional healers, against students. It's one of the pillars. There's a leadership pillar, there's a knowledge pillar, and Dr. Vilakazi did speak about the information regarding the Traditional Healers Council that is there. Presently, no healer in South Africa is registered under the Health Practitioners Act. None of us. Traditional healer, different diversities. That's the one correction. The other one is that there's many institutions that do graduations for students in diversity of different healing sectors. None of them are registered, including THO. They are just institutions, and all of us have to follow in South Africa according to the Act. And then I also want to say the biggest problem for me as a healer for 35 years is sharing of knowledge. It's a big problem. There are healers from just different diversity that just don't want to share knowledge. We are not all, we cannot all heal cancer. We cannot all heal a headache. And it's fundamentally important that the knowledge has been shared. There's no guideline of how to be a healer. There's one small guideline one of our friends wrote, Dr. Manzini Nomsa Tsebeko. It's a guideline book that says how to act as a student. I will send you a copy later on. People can buy that book from her. She wrote that book. She started somewhere. I think that it's a good thing that we are here. There's a reason that all of us are here today, in our diversity and all. We must go away from this thing that I am a healer or I am a this and that for 35 years. We learn every day. I'm still learning every day. We need to embrace our spirituality. We need to congratulate somebody if they've done an achievement, and it is up to us to make a difference in the healing sector. For me, I'm an activist in gender-based violence, and I'm doing different things. I'm also involved in a faith-based and Tales of Thunder, where we are trying to make a difference. Diversity of healers, doctors, no doctors, activists. Let's put our money where our mouth is. We start from scratch as a diversity in South Africa. If we don't do it now, we will never do it. I've been waiting 35 years for registration and I'm still waiting. We do different certificates, we learn different things from each other or from institutions, but at the same time, there is the fly-by-nights that are misusing people, that are misusing students that cannot pay for the practices to sleep with them.
Thank you.
Those one is a no-no.
Yeah.
That one is the ones that we must shame and name.
Yeah.
Healers that are doing that is not a healing because it's a spiritual thing. The student are not knowing that what to do when you are being raped, where to go and report. That's the kind of information. That's what I, from my side and Equelo's side, and other healers are trying to show out. That's one pillar. And as I say, we are not just here because we wanted to hear something new. We are here for reasons. And
for reasons.
For a reason. And as a whole healers in South Africa, try to make a difference. Stop criticizing each other and stop pointing fingers. Let's just stand up and do something. I say thank you.
Thank you very much, Gogo. Thank you very much. Yes, Gogo is correct. I've bumped into it a lot, you know, and it's not a good thing. It's a very sad thing, you know. We all think as healers we're safe, and then you find this young person very in love and, you know, would do anything to reach his value or her value in the ancestry realm, and some of us get hurt badly. And if you are a scarred healer, guess what? You're going to give scarred medicine to somebody. And it is not easy out there. You know, I have young sisters, you know, I love them. Some are white, some are black, some are colored, and they are on a calling. And some of them got hurt. And, you know, I used to speak with them and they might not believe over chat, but God damn, it angers you, man. It angers you. You see this young, beautiful girl go out of her way to reach out to her calling and get hurt, making 5 other healers her age scared to commit to their calling. Not only her. And bad mouthing after that, and a bloodline of healers because of one person's mistakes or one person's greed. These things are happening. It is a reality we need to admit. And stop keeping quiet, because people are really being abused, like for cheap jobs, because you come from Zimbabwe, they give you a 50 Rand job where they're supposed to pay you 300 Rand. Guess what? Healers go through the same thing. And that is to become one. Not everybody's into the real thing. And we need to know who are not the baddies, but who's the good people. That flushes out the baddies. I want to know only who's the good people to send these people to, or to give them a phone number to get the advice they need. And I didn't just come up with this talk. It's not a talk to me. No, this is medicine. This is not a talk. I'm not talking yet. I know that people are going through a lot as healers, and I'm scared to answer now, because I'm not a healer alone. I'm not. I know y'all. Majority of y'all I know, like I met you. And I would like to now ask your permission to point these boys and girls to you. I can't just point them to you. And it has come to that rescue. That's where we are. It has come to that. And talking about these directories and recognizing things the councils are struggling with, it's very important, because I'm confused. On one hand, I'm hearing Q register at this council, and on the other hand, when my political friends ask me, what council are you talking about? We, the parliament, should know. House of Traditional Healers would have pointed it out. These are the confusion, and I'm not the only one confused out there. I'm not the only one. I get asked this question all the time. And like the Gogo said, does it mean we have to start from scratch? Yes. Yes, it does mean. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be the person, one of the people who brings it up. Daniel, my brother.
Yeah, my heart's in my throat. I just want to maybe reflect, and there might be somebody or something valuable about the path that each person who answers a call needs to take, and the trials and the tribulations of that path, the fact that they can't fit into an already established authority and structure, might be an important thing. It might be a feature of creating the healer that is needed. So this fact that we find ourselves like sometimes lost and in a chaotic situation, it's also an opportunity. It's these kind of spaces where spirit can intercede and meet and locate and place and move. But I don't want that to be reason to put the question of authority aside. I think that question of authority is really important. But I don't know if we're going to find it in structures that we make for and by ourselves. If the position is that it's spirit that is healing, we can trust spirit to locate us and to place us appropriately. But we need to be in service to the same spirit. There's authority. There's authority, and there's a head. There's a head that can govern a body, that can move and place members in a body in a way that none of us will be able to do by ourselves. It's not within our capacity to organize ourselves in this manner. And when that path is taken up, you're fully supported, and the fruits of your work are immediate and in front of you. And then it's just the people that I meet. It's because I've met you, and we've put hands on each other, and we've conversed with each other. We've been face to face, and I know him. And then I'm at home, and then it's the person next to me, and then it's the person next to me. I'm not in the position where I'm wanting to derive a career or a profit out of this. So I'm not even putting myself in as a healer, but I've seen a spirit of healing working, and I want to be in service to that spirit of healing. And I don't think that spirit of healing needs to be governed or dished out by a council. The council is recognizing what the head that the council is under is doing, and it's in service of that movement that allies or put down a lot of our anxieties. By their fruits you will know them. And so there's peace in that. Yeah. It's this very talk, this very instance, for me is an instance of the kind of meeting, the kind of gathering, the kind of openness, the kind of opportunity where spirit can intercede and where it wants to intercede. If we're moving via the structures that are already established and in the world, there isn't opportunity, there isn't an openness. So thanks for hearing me, and I appreciate each of you.
Thank you, Daniel. As always, brother. Your input is always valuable because you know I study diagnosis and you know how I scratch my own head hard. You help me see that. So thank you, Daniel. Yes. Okay, my sister Kimberly says, as far as she is aware, indigenous wisdom keepers won't register with South African councils because they are ordained by ancestors, and there is an agreement across healer organizations on that. My sister, I can honestly tell you, the person who told you that should stand in front of me immediately. I stand within the San Chiefs Council, like not just a member, part of the San Chiefs Council. We don't know that. I would not have been on this right now. We don't know that. And we've never had an opportunity to properly come out with this. And this is practically the first time. This is something you might not know, but on the San side, many of the healers are actually, no one knows. I've met majority of them. These people are old people in the bush. So no one can tell me they've visited them. I do this regularly. Everybody that knows me, Q7, IYX Africa, can vouch for that. I'm in Namibia or in Botswana a lot. And these indigenous healers, they know that, you know, there's this meetings and gatherings we have and ideas. And unfortunately, a lot of them can't speak English that well, but they would like to join this and correct that there's, you know, an idea that states that we can't because of our ancestral. Oh no, we are San. Our healers is not just a group of healers that you are distant relatives to, but we believe in we healers for everybody. And we've just never had the opportunity due to the distance where we are and our how can I say, our landscape, man. For me to bring a healer to South Africa from Namibia, the last one costed us, say, almost 50,000. And that was just traveling between Namakwa land and getting stuck in Nice now, where my engine blows up. And here I'm sitting with two Bushmen, shaman, male and female. You know, this is difficult for them. And now that I'm sitting on the San Chiefs with the San Chiefs Council, and I'm part of not decision making alone, but part of bringing to light that we would like to be part of these councils. And we hear these stories where we as indigenous people ancestrally this and that, we would like somebody to prove that. So my sister, honestly, whoever told you that, it's not true. I'm your boy, you know that. I wouldn't lie to you. And right now, the San Council would like to meet you. That's how big this is. I'm not just doing a normal Zoom. This is me also on behalf of all the San healers, Namibia and Botswana, saying, please, we would like to know you. Vanessa.
Hi, sorry I don't have my video on. I can't get it to work. But I just want to put in, pre-Daniel, sorry, but this is a quick me. I was born into a multiracial family, and of my Xhosa family, they were all Nyangas, but because I was born white, I was not allowed to get the learnings. That was in my very young days, up until the age of, say, 10. Later in my life, the calling of healing came, and so I studied as much as I could in different modalities But today I'm loath to call myself a healer because of all the false healers, for want of a word. And what I now do is I see myself as a sower of seeds. I pass on all information I have to whoever will listen. And it would be lovely to join you and say proudly, I am a healer. I've come here. Sorry, I'm emotional. Please excuse me. I've come here with a task that I want to fulfill. And I have found within my life, for whatever reason, taking that step has been really, really difficult. And this is the reason I've joined you. I was called to join you, is we need to come together so people like me can reach out and say, what next? How can I, or where do I, or anything like that? And that is vitally important. As Brother Q said, is we need to know and reach out to people who suffer, as I do, from imposter syndrome. That feels, I am this person. Oh, wait, no, you don't have the right certification, or you don't belong to this council or that council, and therefore we don't shine. We hide our light, and it filters out of our life because we're not being all that we are. So thank you, and I really, really hope and pray that by being here, I can come out and I can be the person I'm meant to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. And a message from the Makwa land for you. Thank you for all the art. The kids, especially the kids that is on the home side, actually, they got lost in it. So for all the art supplies, like a real big box, it's really doing its job. And I think that is already your contribution from where my point of view as a healer. You know, those Nama kids, and not just Nama kids, Xhosa kids and Zulu kids from the mine hostels, they actually appreciating that, you know, and it is your energy and it is your capability, whether you see yourself as an accepted or not. I'm not accepted, and I think that is okay because it's part of the medicine too. It controls my ego. It controls my ego. It gives me a moment to pull back. It gives me a moment to clarify my diagnosis. And Daniel taught me that, you know, Daniel is not an easy person when you sit in front of him. Daniel scratches deep into a person's, you know, energy, because he's a person, when he studies something, he goes deep in. And, you know, it's about that. Without Daniel and people like Daniel, I might think that I'm the greatest thing ever. I might think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. So, you know, there needs to be somebody to put me in my place, because I don't know when I'm doing that. I don't know. I'm focused in this path. This is me. I don't look left and right. Everybody that's really into a craft knows whether it's healing or not. You're there until somebody taps you. And Vanessa, that's where we all are. I feel you, my sister. And yes, we do need ways to recognize that, because it's part of the trauma, especially the intergenerational trauma that is now becoming a norm. And my sister, like, you see the people in front of you. This is the truth. They're healers. There they are. Advisors, people you've never met before. Now you've met them. It's about making that link, the bridge over violent water, because it's violent. The ancestors want us out there, but something else don't want us in there. And then it turns us against each other. And we start, how can I say, making anti-medicine, ego. So thank you, Vanessa. And, you know, like I said, there's people in this group, ask the number. This is your opportunity, my love. This is your opportunity. Here they are, white, black, indigenous. Here they are, all of them. Now you have a tool and a moment to fix yourself.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone. And my thing in life is love. And so I love you all. And I am so blessed to have you now in my world.
Thank you. It's about that. Sup, Doc?
Sorry, I just had to unmute myself there. Got. So Vanessa, I want to commend you. Like, really, you are by exactly what you described. You are by definition a wisdom keeper. You are a repository of knowledge. And that is important in the community to pass on that knowledge and to direct youngsters who you recognize as being healers and who have that light in them, who need to be guided in the right direction and need to meet the right healers, meet the right path and, be placed on it. So really, I commend you. And I mean, as somebody who's also very much the same, had that imposter syndrome, and now, it's taken me many years to embrace my craft. I mean, gosh, I still don't have a specific definition. I am by profession, yes, a homeopath, because that's in alignment with what I do. And that is a path I chose that was, what I could best, kind of, study and be in alignment with the healing craft that I do. But I do a lot more than that. I mean, I have a spiritual practice that is, yes, it's European. And I've really delved into my ancestry and those traditions and, really having to dive deep into researching those methodologies, those ceremonies, those rites of passage. And it's taken me a long time to get to a point of not feeling so much like an imposter and not feeling like, oh my gosh, here I'm coming again, kind of, I'm clearly a white person in a African country. So yeah, I'm again like not wanting to colonize with a foreign methodology, but rather integrating it and recognizing where our methodologies overlap and where our traditions talk the same language. So yeah, it's very important that, people from different traditions have these conversations and where there's knowledge sharing and where there's, and also that's why a registry is so important and why we need to establish this, because again, these fly-by-night kids who come and do cacao ceremonies and whatever that they did, they did a cacao ceremony. I think they can run a whole retreat and charge people obscene amounts, and it's the point of a registry and an association is to keep people in check. It's not just a matter of so that people can find practitioners, but also to keep people in check who are abusing their power and who are abusing their position to, exploit people. And that's why this is important. So yeah, I don't know, you can, I don't know, take over from me there.
Yeah, I made a joke one day about having a healer hotline, and it was on the way just before, well, within COVID. Friends of mine, HIV cancer, Sangomas, went to Joburg, Auckland Park, and the same thing came up, and we were like, we need a hotline for healers because this is not working. Who do I call if I feel abused? There's a hotline for all the types of abuses. Where's the hotline? Whether I'm an authentic healer or not, fake or not, whatever you want to call that person, because that person is a person. And that person is trying something. And yes, a lot of them are flopping hard and charging ridiculous things, making us all look that business type. But, is there somewhere that person can call, like a hotline? No, it doesn't exist. Vanessa needed to be counseled long ago. Not now, but she's also part to blame. She kept quiet. She's not in that circle. We part to blame for not introducing ourselves to society properly and being constant and keeping that, because some of us get banged hard. Some of us are called fake. Some of us are called Christian people want to bang us. And, this is the world we deal in. I mean, we come from a world where witches were burnt. And now we have modern day Sangoma that needs to know that, you know, there's a generation, because you are white Sangoma. And I would like in that booklet also a bit of description of where's that ancestry, where does that red head in Kimberley come from? Where does that Irish red come from? That Irish red comes from an Irish red that was hung and burnt. And she's screaming away from that fire till now. There's a history behind that. There's a beginning behind France was Druidness. He comes from a people that was chopped up into tiny pieces. And, you know, this creates a point where we look at, like Gogo said, both of Gogo said, you know, this native thing, we're all native to that. I have not the qualification to say indigenous. I have a bloodline to say that. Unfortunately, I can't get away from that. But when it comes to native, no, everybody's native. And this is that point. So, you know, I really, you know, another thing is people always ask me, Q, why you say I? Because I is one of my identities as a healer. And this one identified this right now. And I, as a healer, I don't see safety. That's number one. I don't see counseling. That's number two. And I don't see proper education like I find on HIV/AIDS about being a healer or how to report an abusive healer. And these are this is the small things I want to bring up onto the table with this directory, because it falls into that. And I'm feeling a bit guilty now about Vanessa, because if I knew that part of Vanessa, the day I picked up the toys, I would have counseled right there and send her Kimberly's number right there, hook her up with Dr Fikile. I would right there do my work. But I didn't know, and now I feel like I picked up that box of toys, and that box of toys attracted me there for that reason, and I didn't see it. Maybe I was tired, maybe I saw too much signs, but I did not see you like that, Vanessa. And it affects me now. So even now, Monday when I get back, I have a duty now. I need to look for her. And, you know, see how I can repair that connection, because there is no hotline for her. There is no, I'm gonna go see somebody, I feel abused. We have a hotline for gay people. We have a hotline for straight people. We have a hotline for abused women. We have a hotline for all these things. And, you know, even though these women are part of that community, they're not part of that community's everyday talk nor protection system. And we need this. So, you know, what solutions can we come up with now individually in our own lives as healers? You know, what would be your solution? My solution for this is this conference talks, these talks, where we can be frank. That's my solution. This is the step, because I can't make my mind up for everybody. That's rude. And as a healer, there's one thing we hate, another healer doing my work. We all hate that. That is one of the things that refines the brilliance of who we are, all of us. So we need a polite exchange, a point where we can come into each other's lives like this. Because like Gogo said, we all don't know how to fix each other's headaches. There's different formulas to that. We all don't know a formula for helping a woman clean her tubes, or, you know, helping her become, you know, fertile. No. If I tell you the Bushman way, you will not drink it. You will not try that thing. But you know what? You might have a client that needs it, but then you have the knowledge. I would like to share this knowledge. I would like to exchange this knowledge, because my healers are dying. I'm being straight up. My healers are dying. The Naro is sitting on 5,000, my people. And within that, you're talking about maybe 5 healers. We need to transfer that knowledge to somebody, whether it's Bushman or not. I'm getting worried. I've been done this too since a child, but now I'm getting worried. There's a lot of my friends that I see. There's Andrea. Andrea just crossed over into her path right now. Right now, she did. She's alone where she stands. I don't like that. Is she back home? I don't like that. She's alone where she stands. I'm not doing this to give you all name. I'm not doing this to praise myself. I'm doing this because I saw something missing. And that thing that's missing is the relationship between us all. It's not really about the directory. It's really about you all looking at each other right now. It's about that. I didn't know the other people right here, right now. Whoever's in here now, no, I didn't know them. But now I know just more, a bit more. Even of Kimberly, I know a bit more now. Because we only talk politics and Sangoma politics and kill, yeah, people, the world is being killed, let's strike them. Because we're angry. You know, we need to slow down, calm our pace down. There's other areas that we're missing. And that areas we are missing, some healer feels alone. Some healer feels abused. Some healer doesn't have a direction. And some healer doesn't have a formula for somebody he loves or a patient down the road that he knows, you know, this person, there's somebody in my circle that can help. I can feel it. But who's that person if we don't have the conversations to know who we are? And today, this is that one thing I really want to. And before I cross over and ask for about, say, a 5-minute break, I would like to do something. There's few of my sisters in this group, and I would like to ask them to exchange. Andrea, Refilo, do you know I've been chatting to both of you at the same time when we were talking? No, y'all don't, nah? That's how I could know how to advise any one of y'all or speak to any one of y'all, because I could learn from Refilo's Botswana life she's going through as a healer, as well as you as a little white girl that's beautiful, want to do this, and she's in it. I saw that in her as well. And I knew right then, chatting to both of y'all, that if y'all could meet one day, it could be a great thing. Same as, you know, Gogo Kimberly, my brother John, Joe. These are people that can really advise. They're not just saying they're healers. Mama Fikile, Mama Leon, all of them, you know, these are not chance takers. And you are the young healers coming in now. And I have nothing to bless you with. Both of you, I'll tell you straight. It's been good chatting to you all. But, you know, there's your lineage. There's a variety of them. You know, please, everybody, take this moment. I'd like to ask everybody's email addresses as well, please, to send this video to, because it's not a public thing like that. And it's on purposely made very long and big so we can't easily share it. But it can be emailed to you. This is very important information coming out right now. I'd like for us to take 20 minutes. I do still have that nerve damage problem, and I need to have a joint. Everybody that knows me knows by now, when is he gonna say I need a joint? I need that joint now. And thank you, everybody. I might be taking a break, and y'all can continue, please. This is that panel, and like I say, the first video, even if it's an introductory, anyone wants to use this, it's copy left, use it. But please ask each person's permission in the video. You know, there's that as well. Intellectual property of a healer is not like the rest of the intellectual property in the world. If we can protect the healer's intellectual property, trust me, we got power. Yeah. So I'm not sorry for my break. I'm in pain, and we get back in like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Thank you, everybody. Everybody, I would like to just, hello everybody. How long we at this now? We heading into our time, and yes, Annaline, you're correct, Annie, my sister. We have had this conversation, and I did listen to you, Annie. I did listen to you. So I did listen to a lot of your, I'm not Mr. Know-it-all or anything, but I see this gap and I'm taking it. And it's not for me. Y'all that really know me know I really do this for us all, and it's never only for me. And I will be emailing this to y'all, and I'd like us to continue, but it's up to y'all. Like I said, this is introduction. This is who I am. And a lot of the public people who don't see themselves as healers, who just wanted to listen, has heard these truths. Not mine only, all of yours. And I started this loose-based talk we're doing right now. I don't think it's my responsibility to further it alone. And honestly, it is a tool right now needed. It is a tool right now. I will not lie to you. I can't keep quiet anymore of what I'm finding in the country. I drive South Africa flat, and God, I don't have a heart to keep quiet anymore. There's things I want to say, but not until we all understand that, you know, this is a needed thing and find a solution to come together. We have the WhatsApp group link, and whether the WhatsApp group is open for 7 days, it's up to us all. But I don't think it could take more than 7 days to actually come up with how to construct this talk properly, because this was practically an introduction for us all to see who is the brave souls that want to really talk this thing, because it is bravery. It's not easy to talk the things we're talking. A sister of mine, I can't name her, has brought up something to my attention that happens in Botswana, and it's something I've been following and wanting to write for many years. Vanessa Black, my witness, it's something that horrified me now, knowing about it for almost, say, 8 years, where children are kidnapped for spiritual, you know, activations for politicians and sacrifice. There's worse things than that I want to talk about, but I want to talk that with a group of people that, like I say, this video is not online. This is coming to you. You have a responsibility, protect it. It's got us on it. But we need to come up with a solution, man. I can't keep quiet anymore. And that's how I feel, because I'm scared. Maybe one day y'all would say, but you were in that area. I'm scared of that. I'll be honest with you. I'm scared of that because I can't see everything where I am, and you can't see everything where you are. But together we got eyes on everything. So, you know, this is my offering. And y'all know I'm real like that. When it's time for me to do something where I'm public, I want to be honest. And now I am honest. I can't keep quiet anymore. This is my main reason for this. And I didn't have to say half the things y'all said it. So there is a problem. And we can come up together for a solution, because I don't think everybody is here to attack me. I was threatened about this. I don't see anybody on this video wanting to threaten me. Because honestly, it's not about me. It's really not. It's about me keeping quiet here. And I really don't want to open my mouth, because there is solutions better than just blurting out things that maybe I'm seeing in a view that I should really wait and ask advice about. Now I'm asking advice, because I'm finding some messed up stuff. And it's going to be a problem if I continue this, keeping quiet. I don't want to be blamed by no young healer in the future. That's just me. I don't know about y'all. So thank you for pitching up and holding space and bringing out your truths. But, you know, truth to be truth, I knew y'all were going to pitch up. And y'all pitched up because y'all are good people. We are needed, now more than ever. All of us, not just me. I need to advise and point out and give phone numbers out. I'm bumping into many of this. It's getting out of hand. And I just want to be real. If I've taken your time up today, your Father's Day, maybe if I've taken up your space, your girlfriend's time, or, you know, whoever's time, I'm sorry. But I'm tired of carrying this guilt alone. And I'm tired of working on the nerves of brothers like Francois, Daniel, sisters like Refilo, you know, Andrea, Heidi, Nicola, Vanessa. I'm tired of working on their nerves now because I'm taking my anger out in other forms. And as a healer, you may not. So I'm talking now before I become abusive, before I lose my grip. I'm talking now. Please, is there any way we can come up with a solution for the sideline hidden things that we're not talking about? If it's not a booklet, could we start talking about that? Could we arrange time? Could we invite others who we feel could be strength in this? And could it not be mine? I might have the Zoom thing running, yeah, but no, it's not mine. This is your all's. This is your intellectual property. Mine is 1%. I have your email addresses. I'll be sending you all this video shortly tonight. No wasting time. I'm gonna also rewatch it and re-listen, and it's very sensitive what I just heard. So, which means we all recognize that we need to come together for some solution. One is to assist the already forums and councils that there is with the proper information. Two is come up with some way that we can directory this, and even though we don't have a hotline or a care line, at least a way that somebody know that, you know what, if you're going through something, this person is available. As a healer, you know, we can't do it publicly right now, but as the group is here, I already see me talking to few people here that I really need to tonight store. And, you know, it's not to get more information, but some of y'all I miss, and some of y'all, sure, I need to download. Yeah. It ain't, I'm not a snitch. I'm not ratting on anybody, but I can't keep quiet anymore. My side, I got enough complaints. I don't know your people's side. I don't know your side, but my side, I have enough complaints for me to say I need help. And I'm a person that never asks help. I'm arrogant like that when it comes to me trying to go too far to help you. I've hurt myself. My face is sore. I need help. I can't handle these complaints, these WhatsApps. Sometimes I don't answer them because I don't have an answer. I would like to stop doing that. I'd like to refer them now to people I trust that can help them, because I'm getting legitimate complaints. People, healers that need assistance, not the public, healers. Francois.
Oh no, it's actually more of a personal question. How long are you still in Cape Town for?
Monday night I fly back.
Monday night. Okay, so we still have time to.
Yeah, Monday
Okay.
night.
I don't know if you're free tonight or tomorrow. Maybe catch up. Or you busy?
I have people waiting for treatments.
Oh shit. Okay. No, 100%. Okay. No, we'll definitely catch up next time then.
Yeah.
Okay,
everybody, thank you very much for pitching up. Really, like I said, I'm sorry if I wasted your time. If I've forgotten to thank some of my friends, blame my mind, not my heart. And yeah, Daniel, it worked. I'm no more that angry anymore. It's done, brother.
Sure. Thank you for gathering us.
Thank you.
I want to extend an invite. I feel a responsibility. I've named the Holy Spirit today and Christ, the working of that Spirit. If it's provoked something in you, and if you feel at odds with that name in any way, you can reach out to me. I'm here. We can talk and see where we can go from there.
Thank you, Daniel.
Fill that gap.
My brother, as usual. Hey, Andrea.
Tokozani Pagogo. I just want to say, so yeah, dreams are pretty like important in this line of work. And Q, I dreamt this before, maybe a year or so ago. So just know that like whatever you are doing right now, the steps you're taking, you're on the right path. And I think the timing of it all is perfect. So good job. I guess to everyone that's here, you know, it's not just the
I
one.
didn't want to fail you, Andrea, because all this I'm doing is because each and every one of you, I had to hold you all since the time. And some of you all spoke to me long ago, man, like very long ago, you like 3 years ago, you know, and I want you to know now and then I take long in my work. And, you know, manifestation is not an overnight thing. You need to fall, stand up, exhaust yourself, drain yourself. And then when you just give up, there's it. So I was just about to give up. I'm tired. And dang, it comes through. So here we have it again, opportunity for me to say, like, thank you to you for asking these weird questions. And it helped me to look for them. I like to look for something. You'll ask the perfect questions for me to go look for. I found it. And unfortunately, I found little shadows and little monsters and little afraid girls and boys as well. And other people don't want to talk about it. Well, I'm known for making trouble. I'm going to talk about it. Yeah. And I'm not going to hold back. Because I believe y'all are great people. I met a lot of y'all, and a lot of y'all I followed a long time. And wow, you know, I have times where I wish that I could have y'all in one room and I can learn, just keep quiet and listen. Annie and medicine, that's the way she makes it, and her diverse way of culture and her love for the community there. She done Sound and Soil with me. I've seen who Annie is. I'd like to share my friendship with her. And that's why I say, you also each other's emails there. It's going to be one mass email, so y'all are in the email. Thank you, and yeah, I haven't slept in 2 days, and I just wanted enough energy for this, and it happened. I had enough just for this. My face is now really needing me. But before my face, I had to do this because it's the right thing. And thank you, everybody. To my team, IYX Africa, Vanessa Black, thank you very much. Tokozani,
Thank you, Q.